So I'll go ahead and get started. We'll talk about the value of relationships in education. I'm going to start with some key findings from the National Center for Education Statistics. They found that 17% of teachers that started teaching in 2007 were no longer in the profession by 2011. Salary made a difference. There was about a 9% difference if you were above or below $40,000. And that degrees had little impact, only about a 3% difference. Finally, though, the biggest thing was that mentoring had a huge impact, about a 15% difference between those with a mentor versus those without a mentor. Moving on, a few more key findings from the Learning Policy Institute. They talked a little bit about, pardon me, is there a problem?
And I don't really need to listen to somebody read off a PowerPoint, but thanks for your time.
You don't think this research is important?
Of course it's important, or I wouldn't have chosen this session, but given that you only have 7 minutes, don't you think there's a better way to get your point across?
Yeah, like you could do any better.
Look at all these people on their phones. I'd at least engage my audience a little.
I've got 5 minutes left. What do you want me to do, rework this whole thing on the fly?
I mean, I don't know, since you're such the expert up there, why don't you tell these people why you stayed as a teacher today?
Okay, all right, well, a couple things. First, I make major changes every 5-10 years, changing classes, changing jobs. I also keep a good sense of humor, especially about somebody who interrupts me all the time.
Well, you know what, Corey Boby? I think you're probably missing the most important thing.
Yeah, what's that?
The relationship between you and me. Hi, guys. How are y'all doing today? How's all this sitting and listening? Is it going awesome for you? I am Jana Young, and I am also a high school math teacher in Arkansas, and I am Corey Bobby's buddy. Are you supposed to be over here?
I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I don't know. We're here today to talk about how professional relationships make all the difference in your career. When we first met, I was a math specialist in the state of Arkansas, and somebody had given my name to Jana because she was a young teacher trying to integrate calculators into her classroom.
It was 2005, and I was a brand new teacher, definitely overstepping myself, and I could have used a mentor at that point. How about that?
That would work. I was really impressed by Jana. She was really creative. She was really ambitious. But most of all, she was a big know-it-all.
This is going to be awesome, guys. Okay, so I continue going to Corey's sessions so that I could learn how to integrate those calculators into my classroom.
And she kept interrupting me while I was teaching. But during those 3 years that we were in a lot of workshops together, I started to want to go back to the classroom. I started missing having my own students, and finally got the chance to do so and teach alongside Jana.
We got to be classroom neighbors for 5 years. During that time, we were able to teach a lot of the same classes.
We had a lot of discussions, like the one you just saw, discussions. Jana challenged me, and I challenged her. We forced ourselves to grow and change, and made us into the teachers we are today.
And then you know what happened, you guys? Corey divorced me.
Oh my God, I did not.
I'm just saying, that's what happened. Okay, well, he left me for another school.
I did tell you that change was one of my ingredients for survival.
You know what? Let's not argue. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
Right.
Well, let's talk about the impact of losing that great teacher. When a great teacher leaves you, it impacts your school. It costs time and money to replace them, but most importantly, getting a new teacher changes the culture of a school for good or for bad. Also, it changes your department. I want you to think of that person who's no longer in your department. What have you lost because she's not there anymore?
I can definitely speak from personal experience that when Corey decided to switch schools, it left me without my ride or die throughout the school day.
And I know that I miss Jana, and I can't just run next door when something blows up in my face and have her help me fix it.
The most important thing that we're going to lose out by losing a new teacher is how it's going to affect our kids. And I will say that when a teacher leaves, they often leave big shoes to fill. And you know, the students may never get over that.
So we're going to spend a few minutes telling you why we stay. Combined, Jana and I have taught for almost 35 years. We don't look it, but we have. We love our content. We're big math nerds. We know not everybody loves math, but we want our students to see our passion, and when that light bulb goes on in their eyes, our day is made.
We also love our schools. We love Friday night football and the Salt Bowl. We love the spring musical and the feast, tennis matches and golf.
Or we've learned to fake it.
That is true.
Finally, we love our kids. No matter if you're a teacher, a principal, or even the resource officer, you're in this for the kids. Jana and I love being around our kids, and they're the reason we find joy in our job.
And if you don't love being around kids, maybe you should write a math textbook or make some online math videos.
I can do that too.
Of course you can.
Okay, finally we want to talk about how we help others to stay. I believe in meaningful PD. I've taught math PD for 20 years, and valuable PD can energize your classroom. I've learned as much from my participants as I share. That's why I love to be a presenter. Jana's a perfect example of how relationships can be changed through professional development, and it all started in a T-Cubed workshop.
In fact, your future math buddy could be sitting next to you right now. Second, it's time for us to foster relationships with our colleagues. The teachers that are in your district and your neighboring districts, they're there to support you. And without them, you're like an island. And you will not foster in that environment.
And it's incumbent upon us to look for those islands and build bridges. At times, I've been Jana's life preserver, and other times, she's been mine. When was the last time you saved a life?
Finally, it is so important for us to bring life to our classrooms. You know, if you are bored teaching it, your students are bored learning it, and that's just how it is. And so if you can make your classroom an exciting place, it's not going to just affect you and your students, it's going to affect your department and your school and even surrounding schools.
We all know that education is all about relationships, but so often we focus only on our relationships with students. Please foster those relationships with your colleagues as well.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming and listening to us, you guys, and as always, putting up with Corey's arrogance.